Take it out.
Saw pictures just like we saw in Israel.
Humanity is dead.
Body,
It's a rare thing to
mind,
challenge.
use it.
Those who lost
Control.
must
I have something for you.
deep
I didn't
within
like that, Eddie.
It is after
I have to
all
meet somewhere.
A very important theme in both An American Werewolf in London and The Howling is how the story depicts an outsider dealing with unfamiliar communities. Both films involve parties of two traveling to foreign lands where they are attacked by a werewolf. One party is on a trip to experience Europe, and the other is getting treatment for being assaulted, and both parties are killed. Let's find out what that suggests about experiencing new cultures and communities. We'll begin with the more popular of the two werewolf films of 1981, An American Werewolf in London. Whereas The Howling takes a few minutes before the outsider theme gets going, American Werewolf begins the story with the main character and his buddy already as two outsiders, as they travel through a country not their own. We first see them associated with lambs when they arrive in the back of the truck. They're being delivered to a location where they'll be killed soon, like lambs to the slaughter. David and Jack arrive at a small village and hope to get some food at a local pub. Before they enter, they notice the strange sign above the pub's entrance.
That's kind of strange.
Where's the lamb?
It's probably inside getting cold. Come on.
No, really. What kind of ad is that for a pub?
It's a gruesome picture, but this pub is for locals only. Outsiders won't understand the sign, as Jack and David don't. They're not part of the local community. They're visitors, they're outsiders, and in these stories, bad things happen to outsiders. From their immediate entrance into the slaughtered lamb, Jack and David are avoided.
Maybe we can come in?
The slaughtered lamb is a community of town locals who know of the werewolf curse on the moors, and likely why it exists too. In a way, the locals themselves are cursed because of the constant werewolf presence in the area they can never get rid of, but the pentagram on the wall protects them while they're inside. Jack and David represent an outside threat to the locals' protection from the werewolf and to their involvement in the curse. The patrons shun the Americans at first, not making them feel very welcome, but eventually include them with jokes and laughter.
Remember the Alamo! And jokes out the Mexican!
It isn't until Jack breaks their friendliness with a sudden question about the pentagram that the friendly vibe goes sour. Jack touched a nerve. He brought up a subject with the locals that should have gone ignored. He overstepped his boundary. The locals allow them to leave, knowing they'll soon meet the werewolf. The bar patrons are very aware of what they're doing by letting Jack and David go out into the night during a full moon, but they don't want to answer any probing questions Jack and David may have about the pentagram. Possibly sending them to their death is a better option for the locals than having them answer any questions about the history of the town. After Jack and David exit the pub, the locals have guilt about it, which is one theme in American Werewolf. Preserving their secret is paramount. Even though they eventually save David from being killed by the werewolf, the damage is done. Jack has been ripped to shreds, and David is cursed and on his way to transforming into a werewolf during the next full moon. Two outsiders on vacation have been cursed and killed because of their inability to be accepted by the locals for reasons we'll discuss soon. This resisted acceptance of the outsiders in American Werewolf is reversed in The Howling. After Karen's near-death experience by the werewolf Eddie Quist, she visits her psychiatrist who sends her to the colony, a woodland retreat populated by other trauma survivors. She brings her husband Bill along with her for support. They have a good marriage, and at first, keep the others at bay. She stays true to her individualism. The others at the retreat, even the sheriff, attempt to schmooze her and make her feel welcome so her guard will be down, but she's strong and doesn't put herself in situations where her safety or sexuality will be compromised, unlike her husband. Bill goes to Marsha's cabin to cook up a dead rabbit, which is odd because Marsha had blatantly hit on Bill knowing he was a married man.
I'm looking for my wife.
Why?
So Bill knew what he was doing was wrong, but he did it anyway. He allowed himself to be sexually enticed by Marsha. He let his guard down, which transferred him from an outsider to one with a community. Karen doesn't begin the story as someone with an outsider problem. Her character starts the movie on a quest to meet Eddie. That takes guts to meet a psycho serial killer alone in a porno shop. Karen only develops her outsider syndrome after she suffers her attack from Eddie. Dr. Wagner, the psychiatrist who helps Karen and the other journalists with the Eddie Quist story, recommends Karen to group therapy after her near-fatal moment with Eddie.
Okay, tell me, doctor, how crazy am I?
Completely banana.
I think so.
I'm going to recommend that you go out to the colony for a week or two.
His suggestion for her to visit the colony is what puts Karen in a state of her outsider syndrome. Rather than treating her one-on-one, he suggests that group therapy with other trauma survivors will do the trick. These colony locals who also undergo Dr. Wagner's therapy are all werewolves, like him. That's what the group therapy at the colony is. Methods to control the werewolf impulse. Along with Dr. Wagner, the community at the colony are very welcoming to Karen and Bill. This is a stark contrast to the locals in American Werewolf. The colony wants Karen and Bill to be part of the community. They don't turn the outsiders away. In fact, they're more than willing to accept others into their group. So, outsider syndrome, local traditions, secrets in small communities, how do they fit together and what do they suggest? Both films treat the presence of an outsider differently. In American Werewolf was cold to the outsider. The Howling embraced them. Both parties in each movie suffer from not knowing the secrets of the new lands they visit. As much as both films are monster movies, they also could classify as stories in the folk horror subgenre. Folk horror typically brings unsuspecting people to a new land where they'll suffer a deadly fate at the hands of the locals. It should be noted too that both movies here have pornography elements in them, which ties into the importance of the outsider theme. The Howling opens with pornography, and American Werewolf ends with it. The Howling shows the downtown streets of Los Angeles filled with porno signs, and Karen enters a porno shop to meet with Eddie. Now, with the engaging of lust, shame naturally follows. It's impossible for shame not to follow. That is, unless you've been consumed totally by lust, and therefore are so far gone, like the community at the colony, that you've become proud of your lust and see nothing wrong with it. That's the difference between the communities in both films. Villagers of East Proctor are ashamed and worrisome of pornography infiltrating their small town, but the werewolves at the colony have embraced it. They're not ashamed of their lust. We see an instance of this shame when Karen enters the porno store. Several men walk out. The manager even says it to the cops.
Yeah, there's a broad that came in here. She emptied the place out. She's watching movies.
Marcia is rumored to be a nymphomaniac, which some could argue is a stone's throw away from a sex worker in the pornography industry. In fact, Marcia and her two brothers, TC and Eddie, are all obsessed with sex. Eddie is a rapist and a serial killer, and TC is a creepy stalker. The presence of pornography relates to the werewolf in both stories, and sheds light, especially in The Howling, of the werewolf's primary goal to pervert the world with pornography. The locals at the Slaughtered Lamb cast out Jack and David for simply mentioning the pentagram, and when the doctor visits the pub, they were very standoffish to answer any of his questions too.
So, you've heard nothing of this incident? Incident? The murder. Oh, what's that?
Oh, that's been there for 200 years. We were going to paint it out, but it's traditional, so we left it.
That's because the pentagram symbolizes a physical boundary to ward off those obsessed with sex. The locals are hesitant to even discuss the pentagram because of its connection to pornography. They're embarrassed, not of the pentagram itself, but of the fact that the pentagram is necessary to resist the pornography in the world. The colony is the complete opposite. They represent a very open community looking to recruit everyone. Karen and Bill begin the story reluctant to mingle with the colony, but eventually they become part of the werewolf community and die in the process. Jack and David, two guys looking to learn about new cultures in England, meet the secretive villagers at the pub who send them away to die. David transforms while in a porno theater, kills everyone, and attacks people in Piccadilly Circus. Both films are warnings about pornography and the shame it forces upon the members of a community who don't agree with its presence. And lust wins in both films. Although Karen dies, she transforms into a werewolf on national TV. That's exactly what Marcia and the others really want. They don't want to live in the shadows anymore, like Dr. Wagner wanted. He tried to keep the werewolves hidden, like the locals in American Werewolf had wanted, because any mention of the werewolf curse symbolically would bring up their association with pornography. Both stories show an attempt to conceal the consequences of pornography, but they lose. Instead, David and Karen both become werewolves to the world. Everyone sees it, symbolically suggesting the global fact that pornography and its danger is real and could affect everyone.
I'm going now. And heaven help you.